My life lately has been like this, like a cherry. So just picture cherry tree at the top of the hill. This cherry, which is me, hanging from the tree, and everything is fine. My life is great. I'm growing. I'm happy. There's the sun, there's the wind, there's the tree to protect me. Everything's great. And then one day, the stem breaks. I fall on the ground and I start rolling down the hill. And as I roll down, obviously I hit obstacles. I hit branches, I hit rocks, I hit stuff, and my flesh gets more and more bruised as I go along, and chunk starts to fall away. And I get smaller and smaller and more deteriorated and more bruised and broken and defeated in every sense of the term. But that pit, that center, that part that is really me, my soul, whatever you want to call it, is still there at the center protected. But the more that I roll and the more that gravity increases my speed and the more obstacles that I hit, the more of that protective flesh that gets ripped away. And that core part, the pit, the seed, becomes more and more exposed until it gets to the point where there is absolutely no flesh left. And all that remains is the pit, the seed. And eventually, it slows to a stop and it just lies there, completely barren, no flesh left, completely exposed to the sun, and just starts to dry out and crack and break. And it feels like I'm dead. There have been periods in the last few weeks, last few months, where if death was an option, I might have considered it. And, this is why I'm using this as an analogy. Well, actually, no. That's not why. The reason why is because I'm having cherries for breakfast and I like to improvise, so I thought I'd try to see if I could come up with something. But it is the perfect analogy. Because that's the thing. Like, I felt like that cherry just like breaking free and rolling and being destroyed one thing after another. And then eventually it's like, oh, okay, things are slowing down, things are getting better. And then it's like, boom, sun hits me, I dry out, I feel like crap, I feel like I'm dead. But the thing is, I know that if someone comes along, or if, obviously this is a cherry, so the analogy kind of stops working here. But, let's say someone comes along, or somehow I'm able to plant myself, and then it rains. Oh, well, then I start to grow, and I become my own tree. And yes, okay, this is not a cherry tree, but, it's a tree. So let's keep going. Let's use everything to work this analogy. And that's the thing. It's like I've been going through this cherry phase for the last couple months, and it has felt like shit. It has felt horrible. And the last couple days I've been feeling better, and I'm optimistic that things are slowly heading in the right direction. That I finally kind of like, if you go with this analogy, that I'm slowing to a stop, and that I'm not going to dry out too long because then it's going to rain and the earth is going to soften. I'm going to be able to sink into the earth and then start to grow and become that tree again and come back to life, if you will. And that prospect is really enticing because for the last couple months I've just been this cherry like rolling down the hill, completely out of control, just being like battered over and over again by everything I come across. And now I'm starting to feel myself slowing down. I'm like, oh man, it's about time because I couldn't have kept this up for much longer. So, once again, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to be delusionally optimistic, even though that is by nature who I am. And, at the core of my being, the pit, if you will. I still believe everything will be fine. But it's just hard to maintain that belief in like every single part of you. So it's like that belief has remained deep down in my core, but before it filled every single cell in my body. But for the last couple months, because I was, the cherry rolling down the hill and getting destroyed by everything. It's like, okay, it was still there deep down at the core of my being, but every other part of me just kind of like lost that belief and that positivity and that joy and that gratitude and everything. And now that I'm finally sensing myself like slowly coming to a stop, and it's like I know it's just a matter of time before it rains, and then I can start growing and eventually become that tree and heal and become even stronger and bigger and better than I was before. It feels really good. But once again, like I don't want to fall in that trap of believing, oh, everything is finally over. I can start relaxing and enjoying life again, because there probably will be a couple more rocks I'm going to hit before I slow to a complete stop. And it might take a while before it rains and I can start growing again. And yeah, there is a delay in that growing process before you become a tree and you become strong enough to actually, feel healthy and take care of yourself and enjoy the world around you. So definitely not the end of the ride, but I can sense the end is nearing. And I don't mean the end in a bad way. I don't mean the end as in I'm going to die. I mean the end as in like I'm about to end this really crappy phase of rolling down the hill as a cherry and about to begin this new phase of growing into a cherry tree. Man, I really like where this whole analogy has gone from a random cherry that I just took for my breakfast. And as I'm talking, I'm just really, really looking forward to eating this cherry. So yeah, as you can see by the fact that I just made an entire video just improvising an analogy from a cherry, and the fact that I should not have gone there. Because I was going to say, and the fact that I haven't coughed yet, but I know that every single time I talk about coughing, it's going to happen, and I sense it in my throat. So let me drink before I cough. Maybe we can actually do a whole video where I don't cough a single time. That would definitely be a record. Although if I want to do that, I should probably stop the video now just to be safe. But anyway, overall conclusion is things seem to be heading in the right direction. I feel like I'm slowly reverting back to being my old, normal, happy, cheerful, grateful self. And I'm really appreciative for that. And I'm really looking forward to fully being back to normal and not feeling like every day is just a struggle. And most importantly, I would say, I'm really, really looking forward to eating this cherry. So I'm going to end this video and talk to you tomorrow.